This is in the US. Again, Quran instructor arrested, accused of sexually abusing girls in Tigard. Unbelievable. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. This is Muhammad al-Hassan. This is the guy.
Now, he taught children lessons in the Quran. Now he's behind bars, charged in the sex abuse of 2 girls.
K2's Bob High is live at the Washington County Jail in Hillsborough. Bob, the suspect made his first court appearance a couple hours ago and entered a not guilty plea.
That's right. An interpreter was brought in to translate the proceedings for that suspect. Police say Mohammed Hassan recently moved from Tiger to Corvallis, and that's where he was taken into custody Wednesday. 50-year-old Mohammed Hassan said little during his arraignment on 7 counts of sex abuse involving 2 girls who police say attended classes at Hassan's American Islamic Center for the Holy Quran on Highway 99 West in Tigard.
Breaking news, November 24, 2018. Police praise courage of victims after cleric jailed for sex abuse. It reads, an Islamic tutor has been jailed for 14 years for sexual assaults against 2 young girls. What an Islamic face. He's wearing beard the way Islam instructs, but inside, what an evil man. People are entrusting their children to have Islamic education, and they entrust their children so that the children can grow up as good Muslims. That's the view of Muslims when they send their kids to Islamic schools or to Imams. But it's about time we should wake up to the fact that pedophilia amongst Islamic clerics and Imams is an endemic problem now. And I have been campaigning to bring this to the attention of Muslims around the world so that they take special precaution to keep an eye on the Imams they send their kids to, and also to make sure they check the background of the Imams they are sending their kids to, because I have heard many complaints from Muslims and ex-Muslims from around the world when they called me and I audio recorded their evidences where they said their own parents didn't want to believe them because they had such a high respect for these Imams. Well, we know that there are pedophile Catholic priests, but the media, the world talks about pedophile Catholic priests. Even Vatican was obliged to accept that there is a problem. But nobody wants to talk about pedophile Imams. So this is not a one-off case. This is a worldwide problem. This is a serious problem in the UK as well. This is another Imam, as you can see. Imam convicted of sexually abusing 2 girls, Newham. This is in Newham in London, October 3rd, 2018. Newham. You can see Hafiz Azizur Rahman Pizarda from Loughton Road, Northolt, was found guilty at Snaresbrook Crown Court on Tuesday, 2 October, for 10 counts of sexual abuse on 2 9-year-old girls between 2007 and 2009. This has become endemic. There is another Imam in England, Nottinghamshire. Nottinghamshire Imam guilty of sexually assaulting boy. A spiritual leader has been found guilty of 3 counts of indecently assaulting a boy in a mosque's attic. Muhammad Rabbani, 61, who was Imam at mosque in Snayton, Nottinghamshire, for more than 25 years. He denied the charges but was found guilty at trial. We talk about grooming gangs, but what about these? What about this problem? This has gripped UK and this has gripped the world in serious problem where our kids are vulnerable. It's a BBC news. And again, this one, July, of the same year, 2018. Abdul Rauf of Sussex Street in Rochdale has been jailed for 1 year and 5 months after admitting of a series of attacks on children. Abdul Rauf, 51, admitted 21 separate charges, but a judge at Manchester Crown Court took around 80 attacks into account. When will we wake up? When will we wake up? These imams have no idea even about how the British society runs, how the law and order runs in this country, and what is freedom of speech. They have no respect for even the social norms of this country. That's why they want to turn these Western countries, civilized countries, into Sharia-run shitholes. And they praise a man as their prophet who had a sex with a 9-year-old when he was 53 years old. And they consider Muhammad as an example for eternity and of best character. Now, this is in America. US veteran imam charged with decades of sexual assault. 75-year-old founder of an Islamic school is accused of abusing female staff and teenage students as far back as the 1980s. This continues. Muhammad Abdullah Salim has reportedly been charged with sexually assaulting a 23-year-old female who worked as an administrative assistant at the Institute of Islamic Education, which he founded. Now, this is in Vancouver, Canada.
Religious leader in Port Coquitlam has been charged with sexual assault. The alleged attack happened at a mosque where the man serves as an imam. The Coquitlam RCMP Sex Crimes Unit is handling the case. It looks looking for other potential victims. Come forward and speak with investigators.
Now, this is an imam of Cardiff Mosque in Wales, Cardiff. It says, Cardiff imam jailed for 13 years for abusing girls at Quran lessons. Muhammad Haji Siddiq, 81, sexually assaulted young girls in front of class and slapped students who made mistakes. Wow. An imam who sexually touched 4 young girls during Quran lessons at a mosque has been jailed for 13 years. Now this imam is on the run. It says, sex abuse imam is still on run from justice after 2 years, for justice 2 years after trial. This one is on the run. He has gone back to Bangladesh. It says, Hafiz Rahman, who preyed on 2 young girls in the 1980s, slipped through the net and fled to Bangladesh after claiming he was too ill to attend court. Rahman, age 59, of Ballard Road, Netherton, was found guilty of 5 charges of indecent assault in October 2016. He's on the run. Now, this is again in America, Illinois. Illinois Imam Muhammad Abdullah Salim charged with sexual abuse. Police in Elgin, Illinois have arrested a prominent imam accused of sexual assault, local law enforcement officials announced on Tuesday morning. Muhammad Abdullah Salim, you see the age of them, 75, of Gilbert, Illinois, was arrested Sunday without incident and is charged with felony criminal sexual abuse, the Elgin Police Department said in a news release. He was due to appear in Cook County Bond Court on Tuesday in Rolling Meadows. Unbelievable. Police with Elgin Major Investigation Division said They started investigating Selim after women contacted authorities in December and told them the abuse happened while she was working at the Institute of Islamic Education in Elgin in 2014. This continues. Now let's move on to Central Asia. This is in Kazakhstan. It says, Imam admits sexual abuse of minor in South Kazakhstan. This is a worldwide problem. This is in British Columbia, in Canada. Port Coquitlam Imam, convicted of sexual assault, sentenced to 3.5 years in jail. Sadeldin Bahar, prohibited from owning firearms for 10 years, placed on sex offender registry for 20 years. Imam of Port Coquitlam Mosque, convicted of sexual assault, has been sentenced to 3 years and 6 months in jail. This is a worldwide problem. Now, this is about a gay imam, a sexual predator.
Come in and you've turned around and said it might be a trap. So you know that it's true, buddy.
At any point, so you told him that you're 15 years of age?
I told him that I'm 15 years of age on a number of occasions.
It's for the officers. What's your second name?
It's fine, mate. The police will get it off your PNC and your registration number. So you told me that you were here to meet a client. Right, so what client?
Absolutely fine, guys. You're right.
Right, but yeah, we're just going to expose you while we wait for the police. So you're Muslim and it's against your religion. Is it against your religion to be homosexual?
There's nothing wrong with it.
So,
just saying, there is.
No, it isn't nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being homosexual, no, but you're saying to me that it's against your religion to be homosexual. So you do know it's wrong. No, you know, to me, especially a child, it's wrong.
This is another gay pedophile imam. Now, this was a news item. This was in Daily Mail. Married imam is caught trying to meet 15-year-old boy for sex after grooming him on gay dating app Grindr. Then says he fears being killed because of homosexuality is against his religion. Well, this is in Swansea. Well, he denied the charges. It says, all right. A former imam at Swansea Mosque has gone on trial accused of sexually abusing young boys. Nur Alam faces 14 counts of sexually assaulting a child under 13 and causing or inciting a child under 13 to engage in sexual activity. Alam, aged 34, of no fixed abode, denies all charges against him. Former Swansea imam denies performing sex acts on young boys. This one is in Chicago, USA. Sexual abuse allegations against Chicago area imam Muhammad Abdullah Salim exposed debate among Illinois Muslims. And this one is 75 years old. 75 years old. This is in Africa, Morocco. Moroccan imam sexually assaults children in mosque. It says, an imam in the Temara region has been accused of raping 6 children inside of a mosque. Amid the parents' outrage and the children despair, the authorities have little help to offer. It's in Morocco. This news item reads, my imam abused me nearly every day for 4 years at the local mosque. Where is it? Midland Muslim woman was sexually assaulted regularly between the age of 7 and 11. Nabila Sharma tells how she suffered years of abuse from an imam at the mosque she attended as a child. The 36-year-old sales rep from the Midlands hopes her story will help to stop others from having to suffer in silence. This is in Toronto, Canada. Imam at Toronto Mosque charged with sexual assault. Mohammad Masroor, 48, is pictured in this Toronto police photo. This is in Malaysia. It says, ex-imam charged with sexual assault on neighbor's daughters. Kuala Lumpur, a 72-year-old former imam of a surau in Ampang here was charged at the Sessions Court today with committing physical sexual assault on 3 underage girls who are daughters of his neighbors early this month. This is in Malaysia. This is in Australia. Imam charged with solemnizing underage marriage. This is in Australia, New South Wales. Police have arrested and charged an imam accused of conducting the marriage of a 12-year-old girl. Well, she is 3 years older than Aisha. Muhammad had sex with Aisha when she was 9. Police have arrested and charged an imam accused of conducting the marriage of a 12-year-old girl in the Hunter Valley this year. Detectives from the Child Abuse Squad arrested the 35-year-old Pakistani-born man outside Parramatta Police Station about 4:30 p.m. on Monday afternoon, police said. This is in Sydney, Australia. The 26-year-old, a Lebanese man who is living in Australia on a student visa, has been charged with 25 counts of having sexual intercourse with an underage girl. Now, this is in Leicester, in England.
Udin preyed on a young, vulnerable woman. She was fragile and scared. He knew her state of mind when he committed these offences, but that didn't stop him. The victim and her family trusted Udin and put their faith in him when he said he could help them. He knew what he had done was wrong and tried to flout the law by breaching the terms of his bail conditions, and also went on to leave the country. Udin applied for asylum in Germany, which then resulted in the force receiving a notification from the authorities prompting extradition proceeding.
Now, this is about an imam who raped a teenager during spiritual healing was slammed by a judge as being a fraud, a charlatan, and a disgrace to your religion. Well, about the religion bit, when Muhammad had sex with 9-year-old. Kamaruddin, 68, wept in the dock at Leicester Crown Court after a jury convicted him of 2 rapes and 3 sexual assaults upon vulnerable 19-year-old in her home. Oh, goodness. Good. Now, this one is epic. This is in Iowa, USA. Iowa imam in sex assault case says his religious freedom is being violated. Now, this one is epic. This is in Iowa, USA. Iowa imam in sex assault case says his religious freedom is being violated. It says, a curious case is wending its way through Iowa Crown Court. It involves an imam named Nermin Spahik, 40, who is being charged with 1 count of 3rd-degree sexual abuse and 2 counts of sexual exploitation by a counselor or therapist. It says, was arrested in August after a 42-year-old woman and her 18-year-old daughter told police that Spahik sexually assaulted them during a religious ceremony. The woman on August 12 called Spahik to her house in Johnston for help with her daughter, who reportedly suffered personal issues including depression, drug abuse, police court papers. Spahik allegedly performed an Islamic ceremony that involved chanting and rubbing the body with oil. All right. This one, Manchester Evening Standard. It says, Imam sacked from mosque after being found guilty of groping woman. Trustees at the Minhajul Quran Central Mosque say they have dismissed Hafiz Abbasi after he was found guilty of 2 sex assaults. Right. Hafiz Abbasi, 32, was given a 12-month community order after he was found guilty of sexual assault during a trial at Manchester and Salford Magistrates Court. This is in India. Imam accused of sexually assaulting 8-year-old madrasa student arrested. Abdullah Naz had been absconding since October 14 when complaint was lodged, say police. Girl is still in hospital. This is in October 24, 2017, last year. This is in Bangladesh, Dhaka Tribune. Madrasa teacher, that means Islamic school teacher, sent to jail for sexually abusing 11-year-old. There are thousands of such cases in Bangladesh, thousands. And this is in Pakistan, Kahorapekka area. Madrasa teacher sexually assaulted a 9-year-old boy, and it is absolutely horrifying. That's the news headline. You can see. It is an undeniable fact that out of all places, our madrasa are the most unsafe place, as they are no more for seeking knowledge, but instead a common place of sexual abuse. That's what the news item reads. And this is in Pakistan. This is a news item of Al Jazeera. It says, children at risk in mosque schools. Muslim children attending Britain's 700 mosque schools are exposed to significant risk of harm because few obey child protection laws. A report says, well, what can you do when the Imams believe in Sharia, when the Imams believe in Muhammad, the very Muhammad who had a 9-year-old wife? Well, this is Muhammad's list of Muhammad's wives and concubines. Here, Habib bint al-Abbas. Habib bint al-Abbas. That's the name that girl had. And she was Muhammad's cousin, as you can read here. She was Muhammad's cousin, and he saw her a baby crawling around and remarked, if I'm alive when she grows up, I will marry her. Well, he was eyeing up even babies. He changed his mind when he found out that her father had been his foster brother and died soon afterwards. And it is in most authentic Islamic biography of Muhammad, Ibn Ishaq al-Tabari, the commentator, famous commentator of Islam, Ibn Sa'd. This is the most authentic hadith, Bukhari, volume 7, book 62, hadith number 17. Narrated Zabir ibn Abdullah, when I got married, Allah's Apostle said, what type of lady have you married? I replied, I have married a matron. He said, why don't you have a liking for the virgins, for fondling them? Jabir also said, Allah's Apostle said, why didn't you marry a young girl so that you might play with her and she with you? Now, did Muhammad used to play with young girls, his young wives? Let's find out. This one is again from volume 5, book 58, hadith number 234. It reads, I'll read it out for you. The Prophet, narrated by Aisha, the Prophet engaged me when I was a girl of 6 years. We went to Medina and stayed at the home of Bani al-Harith. Then I got ill and my hair fell down. Later on my hair grew, and my mom, Uruman, came to me when I was playing in a swing with some of my girlfriends. She called me and I went to her, not knowing what she wanted to do to me. That means she was so young that she didn't even know what was going on. She got me by the hand and made me stand at the door of the house. I was breathless. And when my breathing became all right, she took some water, rubbed my face and head with it. Then she took me into the house. There in the house, I saw some Ansari women who said, best wishes and Allah's blessings and good luck. Then she entrusted me to them and they prepared me for the marriage. Unexpectedly, Allah's Apostle came to me, unexpectedly, and in the forenoon, and my mother handed me over to him, and at that time, I was a girl of 9 years of age. Muhammad married Khadija, a lady 15 years older than him. But he was 25 years of age then, and he was in a desperate situation because he didn't have any financial support, no means to survive, because he was living hand to mouth and he was working. So that's why he needed a safety zone, and Khadija provided that. But soon after Khadija's death, real Muhammad came out, and he married Sauda bint Zama. This Sauda bint Zama, Muhammad wanted to divorce her because she appeared to be old. Now let's find out what the real fact is. This is Wikipedia for your easy reference, but you can always check the footnotes here like this. These are authentic footnote references. These are most authentic. For example, this is Tabari, Ibn Kathir. These are all renowned, one of the most authentic Islamic sources. Tabari, Ibn Kathir, Ibn Sa'd. You can check in the footnotes. The footnotes. Now, what does it say? Muhammad married Sauda in Ramadan, in the 10th year after his prophethood, few years after the death of Khadija. According to Ibn Sa'd, Sauda died in the year 54 after Hijrah. If she lived to become an octogenarian, she must have married Muhammad at the age of 27. If she married at the age of 90, then she could, if she reached at the age of 90, then she could not have been older than 37 when she married the Prophet, who was 50 years old at that time. That means still, when Muhammad married her, she was much younger than Muhammad. But what happened then? Sauda went to live in Muhammad's house and immediately took over the care of his daughter and household, while Aisha bint Abu Bakr became betrothed to him and remained in her father's house. There was a great surprise in Mecca that Muhammad would choose to marry a widow who was neither young nor beautiful. Still they are saying she was not young or beautiful. Muhammad, however, remembered that the trials she had undergone when she had immigrated to Abyssinia. Now let's move on. When she was older, Muhammad was worried that Sauda might be upset. But remember, she was still much younger than Muhammad. After having to complete with so many younger wives, so they must have been much, much younger than 27, right? Or 37, right? Right? So let's read again. When she was older, Muhammad was worried that Sauda might be upset about having to compete with so many younger wives and offered to divorce her. Offered to divorce her. She said that she would give her right to Aisha, of whom she was very fond, because she only wanted to be his wife on the day of rising. So Muhammad wanted to divorce her. She was older because she had to compete with other wives. That means Muhammad married girls who are much younger than 27 or 37 even. So even when that lady Sauda was much younger than Muhammad, Muhammad still wanted to divorce her. Now, when did she die? She died about 674. That means she died, Muhammad died in 632 when Muhammad was 62 years old. So she died 42 years after Muhammad. So you can obviously see that she was still much younger than Muhammad, but that Muhammad still found her old and wanted to divorce her. So Muhammad was definitely someone who was looking for child brides. So that's why this pedophilia is rampant amongst Muslim scholars and Imams.